Are you a member of the Maryland School Nutrition Association? If yes, stay tuned for all the information about the annual conference next on Food for Thought. Hi, I'm Jodi, the host for Food for Thought, and thanks for watching. Today I'm honored to host Cody Wilt from the Maryland School Nutrition Association. He's the current president-elect. Welcome, Cody, to Food for Thought.
Thank you, Jodi.
So can you tell the viewers a little bit about yourself first, and maybe what is your role with Maryland School Nutrition Association?
So currently I'm the president-elect of the Maryland School Nutrition Association. So this year my goal is to plan the annual convention and to help increase membership and to learn the role of president, which I will become in October. Also, I am an EMT in my county, and I serve local areas that has 600 residents. I have a brother and a sister. I have a niece and 2 nephews. I'm the assistant manager of food and nutrition in Garrett County Public Schools, and we serve approximately 2,000 students meals a day.
And I think you and I, Cody, go way back, right? So working together from Anne Arundel County to Garrett County, it's so far away from each other. What, 2.5 hours?
About 2.5, 3 hours is what it takes me to get down to your county.
Yep. And I think every time we're together, you just amaze me because you talk about all the great work that goes on in Garrett County, which is absolutely amazing. But more importantly, all the things that you do, right, for the district. So I think viewers watching might say, oh, we know Jodi, or, you know, what we do here in Anne Arundel. But the things you do in Garrett are very similar to what we do at a smaller scale. Yes. But it's so similar with the summer meals and your mobile meals that go out. And
yeah, we do mobile meals all summer long at 30 locations. We go out in the morning with breakfast and lunch, and then we go out at night with supper and snack to ensure kids are getting their daily meals. And
then you serve breakfast, lunch, and I'm sure the dinner meal all school year.
Correct.
And then don't you even participate with prom committee and planning committee?
I am a member of the after prom committee, and I'm also on I help with athletics.
Mm-hmm. And then you also even have a little side job that's out there at one of those ski resorts, I believe.
Yes, at Whisper Resort. I am a food and beverage supervisor for Whisper Resort.
Yeah, so you definitely are a man with many, many hats. And it's a pleasure to have you here on the show today. So we're going to talk today just a lot about the Maryland School Nutrition Association. So it's a state association, and I think I'm just going to ask you to expand a little bit too, but looking to really serve our school nutrition professionals across the state and all of the different counties in the state of Maryland.
Yes.
So as your role, and what have your roles been, even at Maryland School Nutrition Association?
So I started as just a regular member, and I became the Ways and Chairman, and then I went on to the board. I've been to all the LACs since I started. I think I've been to 15 of them. I've attended every conference, 15 conferences, and really the biggest thing I get out of the association is networking with others.
Mm-hmm. And you're saying LAC, so that's the legislative conference that's held in D.C.
Correct.
So it's so perfect for us in Maryland that we could really just jump right downtown, get to meet with our, House members and Senate members each and every year.
Correct. Yep.
And have you been on both sides, House and Senate?
I have been in the House and Senate.
Yep, so have I. So I think it's always, I think it's a great way to advocate for the students that we serve. And it's a great way to really get to see that legislation in action.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. So we're going to talk a little bit about, as your president-elect, you're responsible for the convention.
Correct. And
in the great state of Maryland, we do have this association with multiple members from throughout all of the counties and an annual convention once a year. So what does that mean when you're president-elect? So, they ask you to become president. All of a sudden, you're president-elect prior to your president year, and you get the convention.
Yes, and a lot of work goes into the convention. So I am the leader, the steerer of the ship of all the committee chairs. We meet every quarter. A lot of work goes into it with the industry, the education sessions, getting PR out about how to get people into the convention, talking with directors, working with directors on what they'd like to see at the convention, and also working with industry on new food items for the coming school year.
And even before your convention, you have to work on a logo. You have to work on a theme, right?
And that was probably the hardest part of it, was coming up with the theme and what fits for Maryland, because you sort of want to base it off of something that goes with the state so that people are, interested and enthusiastic about the convention.
And I think it's something that I always find it near and dear to my heart, because for the past, it has to be at least 10 years or more, I think now, our design and print folks in Anne Arundel County assist presidents and president-elects like yourself with design.
Correct.
So we've had all sorts of designs, from antique trucks to Yours is a Wave.
Correct.
To sailboats, and a lot of things that deal with the water, a lot of things that deal with bridging things, right? Bridging gaps and bridging nutrition to our students. A lot of things talking about like networking and opportunities and building blocks. So it's a lot of fun doing that, but I think it's always the first time we have a discussion with the new president-elect. It's like, what do I want to have as my logo, right?
When that first email comes through, it's definitely a questioning thought of what's the right theme for this year.
And to spark the interest, like you said, right?
Yeah.
And then we work with an executive secretary, right, for the Maryland School Nutrition Association. And the trick for Michelle is she has to have that embedded, right, in the serving spoon, on a tote bag.
And on our website. Yeah.
So a lot of different areas that promotion takes place, and then we promote it at local TV or radio.
Correct.
It goes out at the state level as well. And then we also get involved with students.
Correct, yes.
And what has been your experience even seeing how we have the students? Because it's typically the students, if they've been in Baltimore County when we've had it, or we've had it down in Ocean City, Maryland.
So currently we're working on student involvement. Again, we sort of phased away from that with COVID. This year we are gearing up to bring student involvement back into the convention to get their tasting opinion on foods and what they like and what they want to see in the coming school year and years to come as well. Because if we're not feeding them something they like, they're not going to eat. So.
And I think years ago when we did the students, it was a great opportunity because the manufacturers, and they're national brands, right? We use national manufacturers that are often primarily looking at child nutrition items, but sometimes not. They both have retail and child nutrition items. And I think it's an interesting dynamic, right, to see the students' real results of do they like it or they don't, and how does it fit into our menus is really important as well.
Correct. Yeah.
So with the convention, people are going to sign up. We usually have a few hundred.
Yeah, our goal is around 300 usually.
Which is a good amount of members that come out to the convention. And it's set up, I know you mentioned the different committees, but it's kind of set up very traditional, I think, where there's an opening session and a closing session.
Yeah, so at the opening session, usually the mayor of Ocean City, our convention's in Ocean City, he introduces the president and presents her with a key to the city, and that's our kickoff to our convention. And the closing ceremony is where the president-elect gets duly installed as president for the coming year.
So you're working side by side then, right? So you'll be working side by side with the president.
Correct, yeah.
And then even once the presidency is over for Maryland School Nutrition Association, you stay on that
for another year as past president, so you can continue to guide us and show us things that you did through your presidency.
So it's a great way, I think, to show the continuation, right, and the growth. But I don't know, it's like all of the wisdom that you bring to the table, then you're able to share with the next president and so on, right?
Yeah.
And we really get some of those great traditions or showcase things, the highlights that work so well are able to continue year after year. And sometimes there's some things that maybe weren't that great that we could bow off.
And you're able to improve. Yeah.
Good. So how often how often would you meet in the planning of this convention? So we know we get the key, but going up to even before we're getting the key at the convention, there's multiple meetings. Can you tell the viewers a little bit about what does it really take to put together a whole conference or convention?
Well, it takes a lot of work. So with the whole committee, there is 4 meetings annually, but I am constantly in communication with the chairs of the committees outside of our group committee meeting. To set up hotels, working with the hotels to see what hotels will give us a convention rate, to work with the convention center and the layout. And Mary Clacko is a good supporter of that because she's been doing it for years, and she knows the convention center, and she knows what works and what doesn't work. So we rely on her a lot for that because we're all working our day-to-day job.
And the planning is starting a year before.
Correct. Yeah.
Okay, so there's the 4 meetings. It's all year before. Everybody signs up, right? So they're getting ready to come to the convention, and they come to that opening session. And I think that's where it becomes a buzz, right? So Garrett County's excited to see the folks from Anne Arundel County.
Correct.
We're excited to see the folks from Harford County that we haven't seen. And that's really where the networking starts.
And networking's a big part of what we do in the association. You truthfully grow professionally through networking, I believe. I know with me starting, I was an entry-level cook at a school, and now I'm the assistant manager. And a lot of that is networking and things I've learned through the years of attending conferences and getting to know people, just like our relationship.
And it's kind of fun, right? Because I think we call upon each other, then not only you get to talk and meet at the convention, but it means we can talk all the time, right?
Yeah.
Which we have. And you have come down to Anne Arundel County a few times already, right?
Yeah.
So we were able to work together on some legislative issues.
Yes.
And I would love, even for you, I love your vision with being the president this year of coming out, and you want to meet all of the members across all the counties.
Yeah, one of my goals as president is to go county to county to chapters. And if there isn't currently a chapter in the county, I'd like to meet with the supervisors to revive the chapters and to get more support with our association. Members are the root of our association, so.
And it really gets the excitement going again, right? I think we're all, even laughing, walking in today, we were laughing about just the struggles, right? Before school starts. It's exciting, but there's so much to do. And before summer starts, it's the same thing, right?
Yeah, you get excited about it, but then it's so much work at the other end of it.
And then you see the student eating the meal, and then hands down, it's exactly what we all wanted to do, right?
Correct.
For the whole thing.
Yeah.
So we also, we get through that opening session. I think it's a lot of introductory things there. Sometimes you show videos.
Yeah, this year, Joe Pittett is our keynote speaker. He comes from South Carolina, and his focus is seeds for thought, and his goal is to instill leaders.
So he's planting the seeds, and everybody that's at the conference or the convention's going to take them in and harvest them, or grow them and harvest them.
Correct. And we are trying to do more bulk like culinary demonstrations with the whole team instead of doing just the breakout sessions, so more people can attend the things that they like to attend. And then also we go and move into the breakout sessions where we cover numerous education topics from central office clear down to a dishwasher, and goals and professional development standards of what needs covered.
Right, and I think for viewers watching, it's one thing that I find, and I'm so proud of it for all of us in child nutrition, that all of our staff, even if it were a custodian serving meals in conjunction with us at a breakfast kiosk or something, everybody has to have training hours. The minimum is 4 hours. And it goes up depending on the level of what you do in the organization. But I think it really highlights, the efforts that we put forward to make sure all of our staff have a vested interest, right? That they understand food safety. They understand presentation of food. They understand customer service. I mean, we know we're all here because of our students.
And it gives them their self something to build on, because professional or personal growth definitely is something big in our industry. Is what you put into something is what you get out of something.
And I think often at the convention, there's always some personal development. There was even, and this is going way back, but like a make and take. Make and take, I think was the
I actually attended 2 of those at my first conferences.
Right, and it was just a great way to work with colleagues from around the state, right, and make these centerpieces, right? Or
centerpieces and little wall hangings. And I remember taking 10 cans and making a snowman out of a number 10 can of mixed fruit that we used in the cafeteria. It's just a way to recycle and reuse things to decorate your cafeteria, or simple ways to give you ideas to decorate your schools.
Right. And even use them at home.
Yeah,
right?
true.
Like it was kind of neat.
Yeah.
It was a way to really tie everything together in a nice way. And I think it was that relationship building that you had sitting around a round table while you were at some of these events. And
just talking to other people.
now, how does the education chair, so I was the education chair, that was one of my roles for the Maryland School Nutrition Association. I know now I do all the advertising, and I have been for 15 plus years. But when I did the education, it was really interesting hearing from your members and trying to put together, a really good event or calendar of events of what people could attend.
So currently we work with ICN and other agencies to pull ideas into our association on what people want to see at conferences or what education sessions people want to see. We do get feedback from our members on what they would like to see as well. I know that currently we work with SNA to get education sessions from them. The whole executive committee attends the ANC conference, which is the national conference. So once we come back from that in July, we all have new ideas of what we'd like to see at our conference and what education sessions, because there's so much to be talked about with school nutrition and the quality of meals we serve, and production and food safety and professional development. I mean, it's just, there's a tremendous amount of topics that could be talked about with child nutrition.
And I think sometimes even when you look at the agenda, you don't know what you're going to attend because they're so good. And I like the fact that you said you ask the members, but you also see that, like you mentioned at ANC or the annual national convention. So you had two acronyms in there. So for somebody watching, I'm going to give both of them shout outs. So ICN is the Institute of Child Nutrition. It is a phenomenal organization that works hand in hand with the United States Department of Agriculture to put together wonderful resources, flyers, guidance in a poster, for correct measurements, correct portion sizes, colors of the vegetables to figure out if it's a green vegetable, dark green, if it's an orange or a red vegetable. So ICN, Institute of Child Nutrition, has been phenomenal for all of us. And then the other one was the School Nutrition Association.
Yes, which is the School Nutrition is our guiding, our governing association that oversees the states, and they have an ANC is their annual national conference, which is their convention, which mirrors our convention at the state level.
And I believe School Nutrition Association has a Mid-Atlantic representative or somebody that would possibly attend our Maryland conference,
correct? They don't attend
convention.
Every year. They attend every other year, I believe.
Okay. Let's talk a little bit about the convention floor, I guess is the correct term, but I think somebody watching is probably like, what is a convention floor?
So the convention floor is our key thing of convention, I believe. It's the vibe, it's what everyone gets excited about, it's the opening, and that's where all of our vendors get to come out and show their new foods, show directors, show entry-level staff. They get to sample foods, equipment. There's new equipment involving every day. And it's amazing to walk into that floor for the first time and feel the energy of everyone just, going down the aisles of what's there and talking to industry reps that a lot of people get to know throughout their years. I know I work closely with a lot of industry, and I'm sure you do too. And it's just amazing to see what new things they have, or just to catch up with them. Even if they don't have new things, it's just fun to see them and catch up.
And sometimes it could be something so simple as you could roast a product versus putting it in a steamer to get a better glaze, a better product that goes to the students, right?
Yeah.
Like that's the part that I love. And I think you really touched on it perfectly it's that relationship that you get to build with that manufacturer that knows the product firsthand.
Yeah, correct. And just like their recipe books are great, and even the Dairy Council is usually at our show, and they have so many ideas of what you can do with yogurt and milk and to make different ideas. Warm hot chocolate is something we wanted to try in Garrett County, so we do have the condensers now to try to make that happen this year. And who would have ever thought about heating hot chocolate or heating chocolate milk to make hot chocolate? I mean,
right. No, so I think it is. I think it's a wonderful resource for all of us to come back and be excited about what we saw, what we learned, and where does it fit into the Where does it fit into our menu mix? Or how do you have the staff that can prepare it?
Correct, yeah. And there's a lot of things that are now being made for fast scratch or speed scratch or whatever you want to call it, so that you don't have to have all the labor side of it. It comes in halfway done, and you can make it a scratched meal out of what products the industry is putting forward.
And sometimes we get one product that can go in multiple use.
Correct.
Right? So it could be a shredded chicken or a beef meatball, or you probably could rattle off a bunch too.
Yeah.
I mean, that's two of ours that they could go in multiple different dishes or entrees.
Yeah.
So the student's not saying, oh gosh, is it really that same thing again? It might be the same base or the protein, but it's completely different when it comes
Presented
out
in
of the
a
plate.
different way. Yeah.
How about, so when they come in, there's a ribbon cutting.
Yes, we have
Very
a ribbon.
formal.
It is very formal. So we have a ribbon cutting for both entries. We do split you into two groups so that everyone has a chance to see all the different vendors, and we're not overcrowding the floor. We do plan for a sellout this year, which is, I think, 210 different booths. So that's exciting. The ribbon cutting is a very much an energizing activity, I think, for everybody, and the president gets to cut the ribbon. So, and into the floor you go, and it's just a great time. And like I said, you get to network with your industry and build off of that.
Before we start talking about networking, it's funny. So, there's the ribbon cutting, and I know our team in Anne Arundel County, like we have a system. So we have which items we want to see that should be new, which items could be a comparable equal to something that we serve that might be, a cleaner label, less ingredients listed on the nutrition label. So, and we often go right to the back and then work our way front.
Correct.
So I think it's funny. Everybody divides and conquers the best way they can to get through the whole show.
So usually I go from one side of the floor to the other side of the floor. And what I do is ask my staff before I come to convention, what would you like to see new? What would you like to see on the lunch line? And that's my key focus, is like, what items can we bring in? I know breakfast has been a big thing for us, breakfast items. And so that is always something I'm looking for, is new and invigorating ideas for breakfast.
We do the same, Cody, and I think what we find interesting is over the years, as we do more breakfast in the classroom, we don't have as many bulk items, so we need it to be packaged. And 15 years ago and 20 years ago, we really didn't have a lot of those items. Correct. So now we're saying to vendors, or manufacturers, we really need it wrapped. It can't go up, you just can't carry it up to first grade on a sheet pan.
Yeah, and we used to. I remember when we first started MMFA, which is Maryland Meals for Achievement, which is the classroom breakfast, which gives free breakfast to all students in that school. We wrapped the breakfast pizza in foil, and the kids were like, but the cheese is sticking to the foil. So then we were training our staff to let it set for 10 minutes before you wrap the foil. And now it's pre-packed. We went to industry, and now we have pre-packed breakfast pizza, which is amazing.
And same thing for like the portion sizes, right? So there could be a 2-ounce grain would be the equivalent. But we were looking to do a 1 ounce, like a 1 ounce muffin, a smaller muffin with a yogurt or with a cheese stick. And it's funny because they didn't have all the sizes we need, and everything's very calculated in school meals.
Yes.
So the more we ask the manufacturers, and again, that networking and building that relationship with them, it's interesting that now we have all those things at our fingertips.
Yep.
Let's talk a little bit about networking. I think it's something, like I said, I love when you come down to Anne Arundel. I love the energy that you come, you want to go out and see our schools and do everything. But why is networking so important as an association, and why is the convention so key for us to network?
So networking is big for any association because that's how you build. That's how you get people involved. That's how you get involvement. My personal goal for networking is to build with myself and to grow professionally and just to get to know other people. I think that's the biggest key. That's the biggest key to any association, is networking and membership.
And I think the networking, it allows us to trust each other and call upon each other, right?
Yeah.
I think it's one thing we do very well in Maryland, and I think it's part of the Maryland School Nutrition Association that does that for us.
Correct, yeah.
I would have no hesitation to call you guys up and Garrett and say, hey, here's what we have. What are you guys doing with this? And vice versa.
And I think that's vice versa for us too. And that's just the relationship we have all across the state because of the networking that you develop at convention. Because convention's our biggest event where everyone is together. So that's where you get to build relationships.
Yeah, and sometimes see, like you could talk to them, but you don't see them in person.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's just really having the cup of coffee in the morning before you even go into the
Correct.
convention,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
We could solve all sorts of things. Or I could be walking by on the convention floor. You could be talking to somebody, and that manufacturer might say, "Hey, Jodi, Cody's using this. You want to come hear about it?" And the next thing you know,
Yeah.
I'm learning exactly what you're using, and we're
And
having
new
an
ideas are going out across the state then. And that's really how you build your child nutrition program, because there's set rules and there's set regulations, but there is no set, this is how it works and this is how it operates. So everybody's sort of on their own in that aspect of building a menu and, how staff works and staffing levels. So, and that's really the biggest key of networking in child nutrition.
And we just have a few minutes. Why would somebody want to come to the convention if they're a Maryland School Nutrition Association member?
I definitely think the biggest thing is networking, and the education sessions are wonderful. You can build yourself professionally, and we honor our food service professionals at our annual banquet that'll be held at convention. We give out a Manager of the Year award, an Employee of the Year award, and there's some other state level awards that we give out. And we definitely ask people to nominate people for those awards because we want to highlight what good things are happening in Maryland.
Well, thank you, Cody. Thanks for steering the ship, and thank you for being the president-elect for the Maryland School Nutrition Association.
Thank you.
As you can see, the Maryland School Nutrition Association is key in resources, in networking, and really pulling together all of the child nutrition professionals around the state to come together at the convention and learn, see new products, and really see what difference we can make for the students we serve. All school nutrition professionals know that we're keeping our students fueled for success each and every day through breakfast, lunch, dinner, and even summer meals. If you have any questions concerning school meals in Anne Arundel County, please give me a call at 410-222-5900. Thanks again for watching, and I'll see you next time on Food for Thought.